Okay. Now, so I'm going to take this off now so you can see my pretty beard. Okay. Well, you know, the trouble with me is I like to work all the time. So when I get offered a job, and they're usually really, really good jobs, because I guess I started out with villains and everything. And they're great parts because they move the action along, you know, and I try and make them human as opposed to just do, which is what I did. Are you all Smallville people? Yeah. So I remember one day my agent called me and said they're doing this thing about Clark Kent before he became Superman, and it's a family thing, and somebody dropped out, and they're looking for a father for Lex Luthor, and it's just I think one scene or something, and they might have you back for some other episodes and everything. But because I didn't have a contract, they tried to get me back, and I had other jobs, so they couldn't, so they decided to put me under contract, which they call golden handcuffs. So it means I couldn't do anything else because I had to be ready to go to. But they were very nice about it. And then I started, I'd always been afraid to take a class, an acting class, you know, where you have a teacher and you do scene study and everything. And I was frightened to do it. And I was I was in LA and I was doing a lot of television and movies and things. And I started working for the money. And I stopped enjoying the work. So there was this teacher in Los Angeles called Milton Katselas, who I'd known a lot of people who studied with. And I went and took his class. And he basically, it turned my whole career around, because he said, John, you shut up shop. You stopped working. And it was true. I was just doing the jobs for the money, and I would just sort of try to wing it. And he kind of taught me how to take things apart again. Why am I telling you this story? I don't know. Just what? Yeah, it's a backstory. It's because I was a whore for money. I would do these jobs, and I'd just come in and think I could just learn the lines and say it, and the work was, I'd close shop. So he got me back to working. Yeah, hi all.
Hey, I was going to moderate, but honestly, you're doing fine on your own.
No, come up and moderate, because I'm telling stories and I don't know why I'm telling them. So come on up here. Come on.
Sorry.
Come on. He'll get the guy going. Yeah.
I do have a question. I was wondering on Smallville, is there anything else you thought you could have done with Lionel Luthor?
Well, I thought I did pretty good with it, because well, and that was my idea, too. I said, I know you're going to kill me off, but you should have Lex kill me, because that would really, you know, make what makes Lex, that he killed his father, pushed him out the window.
Sorry for the awkward open about that. Yeah, you seem like you were gung-ho. I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, okay. Thanks. I'm glad you're here, though.
Okay. Well, hi, John.
Hi.
I'm Nick. You kind of started at the beginning with the backstory. That's good. That's usually kind of my style. I like to know a little bit more about you. As I also like to ask, how are you liking Columbus? And I'm assuming you're used to the cold. You're being from Maryland. This is not your first cold.
I live in New York.
Oh, well then, yeah.
Sometime in New York and sometimes in LA. I'm lucky enough to have two homes because of Smallville. I think it afforded me to. And I think they're both paid for, too, so. Yeah, it's nice. So when it really gets cold, we're going to go to LA. Yeah, where it gets sort of cold.
But manageable. A manageable cold.
Yeah.
Well, you had mentioned Smallville and kind of getting into that. Smallville's not your only DC role. Like you're like a champion of DC. You've done so many titles.
I have never auditioned for any of them.
Really?
They have all just dropped in my lap. I don't know what they thought I was, but I didn't. I mean, I didn't know anything about Batman, I watched Archie and Jughead comic books. That's what I read. So I didn't do the Batman thing or the Superman things, but I know that they sort of start out as offering me villain roles, and I tried to make them human, which is what I did with Lionel, especially after I killed Jonathan and then started wooing his wife. Annette and I had such a good time together. And Michael and I, Michael is a really wonderful, wonderful actor. But at the beginning, I didn't understand that. And he used to drive me crazy because he'd just do things that were just like that. And he was being Lex for Lionel. And finally, I figured that out. And then we started really having a great time together. But at first I wanted to wring his neck. I thought, oh, God damn it, Michael, don't do that. Fuck around. Oh, I just said the F word. Don't turn me in, all right? Don't turn me in.
It's PG-13, we're allowed one.
Oh, okay, I've been allowed one. But I bet I do some more. I can't help it.
Well, I mean, I think one of the reasons you didn't have to audition for it is you are used to playing villains. That's most of your background is playing villains, and not only that, but turning them, like you said, adding a human quality to them. Gremlins too, like Mr. Clamp was not supposed to be what he eventually became on stage, and thankfully, like you breathed a whole new life into that character that wasn't on the page.
I'm trying to get them to do a Gremlins 3, and Clamp will be the president of the United States. Because it was sort of based on what's-his-face. What, Trump? We don't like to say that word around here.
He who shall not be named.
And if there are any Trumpers here, I'm sorry, but I just don't trust the man.
What was that?
No need to apologize. Who are you? Are you listening to me? My pants are talking to me. I don't understand. Oh my God.
That was creepy.
What is the world coming to? Hello, dear. How are you doing in there? Speak up.
Have you ever really floated that? Like, have you talked to Joe Dante about making a Gremlins 3, or just kind of hoping it happens?
I think when I get back to LA, I'll just call him and say, I think we should have one. I'll just say that the Comic-Cons that I've been going to, somebody suggested it. It's a brilliant idea, even though I thought of it. But I'll give what's your name? Jason, suggested it to where I was doing a thing. Okay, all right, okay. Well, don't you think that would be a great idea if Daniel Clamp was the president? And he just, fuck off. Oh, see, there I did.
We're up to
Number two. Third time. I got 3. Things look well in 3s. Fuck it. Okay. Wait a minute. There are no kids out there, are there? Okay. It's really a lovely word, though.
You've heard it. You can't unhear it.
I'm sorry. I'm having too much fun. I've never been to Columbus before. I've been to Cincinnati. I played Cincinnati Playhouse in the park, the theater and everything. I just right now, Kevin Conroy's going through my mind, and it was all so sudden, and everybody was so surprised. I had done plays with him in New York and at Williamstown, and some mini-series and things, so I knew him before he was... I knew he'd studied at Juilliard, but when I came in to do the Riddler, I only did 3 Riddlers in that Batman animated series. What was rolling out of his, the way he was doing, I didn't understand. He was, amazing man. and that performance was. He had such a strange relationship with his father. We would do plays. He talked about it. I think it was hard for him with that, but he brought that to the work. He was such a good actor and such a beautiful person, with a heart of gold and very generous. And I think everybody was just so thrown. It seemed to come out of nowhere, because he's just incredibly special and so talented. So we'll say a prayer for Kevin right now. Just God bless him. Yeah. Boy.
So with working with Kevin, so were you said you worked with plays at him, so when you were working with plays, did you share a lot of stage time with him, or were you just the same productions? Or
No, we were at the Shakespeare Festival in San Diego. We were brothers in Lear. We played together. And Much Ado About Nothing, we were. I was Benedict, and he was his friend. I can't remember. Names and knees are the first to go, so I can't remember the characters' names because I'm 78 years old, so my memory's fading. It's much harder for me to learn lines now. I used to be able to just read a big long speech and then do it. I can't do that anymore. It really takes time to learn the lines now. Oh, the brains. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Lincoln Center in New York has they come and film some stage productions. So if the next time you're in New York and you go into the Lincoln Center library, and you have to watch it there, but you can watch those things, and I'm sure my name would. I can't remember, what got filmed, but there are things that I was in that they had come and.
Like I said, we're from New York, so.
Oh, well, then go in. Yeah.
I live in Raleigh, but wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Go to the Lincoln Center Library.
I looked it up online and I found out that they're not available on the web.
Okay,
So,
at least you can.
or you have to be a professional, and they'll give you access.
Well, tell them you're an actor or a director or something, and you work in such and such a town. They're not going to look it up. They're just, yeah. But
always ask.
Say what?
Always ask. Always,
Yeah.
Just, worst they can say is no.
It is a library, and you have to watch it there. It's not like you're going to take it home and copy it or anything. But there are some there. I had such a good time with that. It was at the San Diego Shakespeare Festival. I've done a lot of Shakespeare.
Do you have a favorite Shakespeare role?
Well, I'd like to play Prospero. I've got some really good ideas about the making it a very active and happening. The what's his face who's after his daughter. That just happened that night before, and to really make it all just because I've seen it's a man who learns forgiveness. How to forgive. He knows his flaw, that he wasn't a good ruler, and his brother took over, and I think he was furious at his brother for doing that. But within the play, I think he really learns how to forgive. So I just have some good ideas about it. But now I'm in a thing of, will I be able to learn the text now? Because I'm sort of frightened about the line things. But if I work hard enough, But that's what I'd love to do as a Prospero.
Looking to Prospero?
Yeah.
I could see it, and I think it would definitely work.
Yeah. And I'm old enough now. What? What were you going to say?
I was just going to ask if you've ever done the earpiece thing. You know, the line thing.
Yeah. No,
The thought just came.
I know, but I'd like. Well, I think if I worked hard enough, and if I went and read it every day, I mean, I should be just starting to learn it now and go look for a place to do it. I'm sure I could find a place that would want to do it, because I sort of am known. I won a Tony once, and I've been nominated for some Emmys, but I never won them. Yeah.
What did you win the Tony for?
A Love, Valor, Compassion, a play by Terrence McNally.
Oh, wow.
I played twins. Yeah. It's a wonderful play, and then we made a film of it, which is not as good as the play because, well, it's about there's a house, and in a film you see the house, but in the play you create your own house. And it's Terrence McNally. You're all aware of Terrence McNally, right? Oh, he's a wonderful playwright. He died a few years ago, but he look him up. Well, look up this Love, Valor, Compassion. It's about a bunch of gay men on the three weekends of summer, and there's a guy with his hand up. That's you, guy. You're up. What's up?
So we were talking about Gremlins earlier. Have you ever played the Gremlins 2 video game or seen?
There's a video game of Gremlins 2? I didn't know that. What do you do?
Like you play as Gizmo and you just kind of go through the different levels in Clamp Tower and then you fight the evil Gremlins bosses at the end. Unfortunately, your character is the one that doesn't appear in it. But
My character is what?
doesn't appear in it.
Well, why would I play it then? Well, you better write them and tell them you can need the Lionel. Was that my character? What?
Clamp.
Clamp.
Yeah, Clamp.
No, Lionel was Smallville. See how confusing it is? Who am I anyway?
What's the plight of the actor? You know, becoming different people, and
Yes.
it's like a
Yeah.
separation anxiety kind of
Yeah.
identity crisis kind of thing.
Yeah.
As far as, because you mentioned doing both the play and then also doing the movie, do you have a preference as far as theater acting versus film acting? Obviously, it's two different beasts, or do you think it's two different beasts?
I like to be able to do it all, the stage and the television and the film. I made did you all watch the Purge, those Purge movies, any of you? See that Purge? Well, the guy that wrote those and directed them did a movie last March that I played a character in. It's called The Home, and it's about an old age home. And I played a off-Broadway actor who is who is at the home, and I teach acting to the other residents in the old age home. And it's Pete Gunderson. What's his name? Pete Davidson. He's the lead in it, and I play this acting teacher, older. When he cast me, I thought, I'm not old enough to be in an old age home, and I'm 78. Oh, that's the third one. Okay. Yeah. What? Oh, it was 4? Shit.
They're all keeping track.
There are, okay. No, there are, yes, okay.
Do you have any questions yet?
Yeah.
I know it's hard for you to remember like scenes and stuff, but in Smallville, when you guys transferred you and Clark,
Oh, that was a fun episode.
how do you like in your mind try to be the other person?
You know, I had a lot of trouble. Because I had little things I did with my tongue and stuff like that, and he picked all of that up. And the thing about Tom is the way he looks, that he can just stand there and think, and I can't do that. So it was really hard for me because I kept wanting to. I thought I'm not like him, so I kept trying to stand there and do nothing, and I felt like I don't know if it was harder for me than it was for him to do that. But I think it turned out all right, didn't it? Did it? Was I okay in it? You better say yes. Yeah, it was. I was proud of Smallville because I really figured out a way. It was when I was studying with this guy, and I was trying new stuff, and Milton would say, "You don't need to do it right away. Just start slipping this stuff in," and that's what I did, and the writers started picking up on it, and I felt so proud because I knew it was. If they were picking up on it, it must have been working. So I just, and I had such a fun wooing Annette after I'd killed her husband. Yeah. What? What?
When you first came on, you started talking about how you not exactly fell out of love with the profession, but you felt like for a while you were just cashing in checks.
Yeah.
Do you remember a moment where that changed for you again, where you fell back in love with the profession? Was there a big moment for you?
It was that teacher that basically said, "You've closed up shop."
So that teacher.
Yeah, I mean he died recently, and he was a Scientologist, but he never brought the Scientology into the class. But he had a brilliant mind, and he was a great teacher, and he basically changed my life because I started enjoying work again. I mean, I'm most comfortable when I'm being somebody else. I have trouble being me. Yes, young man with your hand up.
Yes, what was your favorite riddle?
My favorite what?
Your favorite riddle as the Riddler.
Oh, I don't even remember what they were. If you are so smart, why aren't you rich? I don't know. Because I didn't write those things, but I mean, they're brilliantly written. And it was only 3 episodes that I did, so... I thought it was like a Saturday afternoon children's show. So I never watched it. And then I started doing these Comic-Cons and realizing that people grew up and sort of learned about life from this Batman animated series. I didn't watch it. I remember there was this young guy who came up to talk to me, and I tried to explain how I never watched it and I thought it was for kids, and he just looked at me and shook his head and turned and walked away from me. I felt so bad, but I was trying to tell him that I saw it now in a new perspective, because I thought it was just some Saturday morning cartoon show. I didn't realize how deep it had gone. And
in fairness, I mean, that's basically one of the shows that turned the corner for that. It used to be that those comic shows were just, Saturday morning,
right.
Funimation, Hanna-Barbera stuff, and Batman the Animated Series completely changed the whole landscape. And to that extent, when you're talking about talking to fans and hearing the impact, how many people in this room, when you read The Riddler, you hear this man's voice? You're my Riddler for sure. Like, your voice lives in my head, lives in all of our heads.
See, this amazes me because I'm not I don't do voice. I don't do that. but the Riddler thing, I guess I was so relaxed.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, those speeches that they wrote for me were genius. So it was like Shakespeare, I guess. Yeah, in a way.
I think that tracks, because so Riddler's my favorite villain of all time.
Really?
He's my favorite Batman villain by far. And the idea of him being Shakespearean and even taking it a step further, being like a Shakespearean actor who's basically all the world is a stage and he's the main character. He's so upset that Batman is the world's greatest detective and he's so smart. He has to one-up Batman.
Yeah.
Was that, as far as, I know you only played the character 3 times, but as far as your approach, did you understand that as you were coming into it, or?
I just knew that he thought he was fabulous. Excuse me. So that's what I played. This guy that was so much smarter than Batman. So there it was. He just had it. It was his. He loved his brain. He was so clever, and he knew it.
That's perfect. That's that Enigma. Have a question?
Yeah, so I'm just curious. Let's just say somehow, some way, you went back in time and had the option of picking any Batman villain to voice or portray. Would you choose Riddler, or would you maybe try to go for a different villain and see what you could do?
Yes, okay, that. The second one. I guess. I don't know. It's because Andrea Romano, who's the woman who created or directed them, I had done, there were some other ones, like there was, other silly ones. I remember.
Tiny Toons and Tiny Toons and Animaniacs.
Animaniacs. Yeah, I'd done a couple of them. So that's what I thought this was going to be, the Batman thing. Of course, it wasn't. I mean, those speeches weren't like that. Weren't they just big, long speeches that he said? Or was there really a lot of dialogue with Kevin? I can't remember.
There was a bit of back and forth, but it is mostly monologuing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the character, but
Yeah.
there is a little bit of back and forth. So it's as far as the approach to it, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah, and the reason I think it was so good is that Andrea would bring the whole cast, and we'd do it together in front of microphones. So it wouldn't be, here's this line that has to mesh up with that. It was like reading a play. So I guess you all know that because we talk about that a lot, these things. So yeah.
Well, after those casting or those voice sessions where it's all of you in the room, did you guys, once you're done rolling, then go to a bar or go eat afterwards or hang out?
We just split up and the job was over. And I could walk to work. It was right around the corner from where I lived. So I'd walk over and have like an hour and a half or 2 hours of fun with a bunch of great actors, just laughing and playing around and messing around. And it was fabulous. So, but of course, Saturday mornings I didn't watch it. But when was it on?
Depending on the different markets, because it was in syndications. Part of the reason the show was able to do as much as it was.
Oh.
But when it first came out, it was a primetime television show.
Really?
It debuted at 7 o'clock. So that's, like I said, that's one of the shows that turns the corner of animation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that. I still thought it was on Saturdays.
I mean, it was. They would re-air it on Saturday mornings after. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah.
What's your favorite part of being the Riddler in Batman the Animated Series?
What was what?
Your favorite part of being the Riddler?
But I don't remember any of it. I just went in and did the 3 episodes and had a blast. So I don't know what I said. I should get a copy of it or something and watch it. I still haven't watched it.
Well, that would be a great idea for a panel. You could watch for the first time on stage, watch an episode of Batman the Animated Series.
Okay.
As the Riddler. We don't have to do it now.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Everybody got it on their phone?
Right.
Pull it up.
Ask some more questions. There's a hand up way in the back. Wait.
What was your favorite role that you've done?
In my life?
Favorite role that you played?
Yeah, favorite role you've ever done.
In my life? I don't know. I've so many that have been. Did you ever see 52 Pickup? Watch 52 Pickup. I play it's a Elmore Leonard, from an Elmore Leonard book that John Frankenheimer directed, and I play Alan Ramey. I have touched every part of Anne Margaret there is to touch. You should watch this movie. It's really good. It really is fun, and it's a great villain role, a real slime ball. Yes, sir?
Scrooge is one of my favorite Christmas movies. Do you have any fun stories or interesting facts from that?
Well, working with Bill Murray was a lot of fun, I can tell you. He's very generous, too. There was this one scene where we had to walk across a couple of sound stages and everything, and there was no dialogue, and I kept thinking, what I gotta talk something or whatever, and I said some cliche thing. He said, no. And then we broke for lunch, and when we got back, he had written this line. As I get him, there's a part in it where we walk across the stage and we get in an elevator, and right as the elevator door is closing, I threw the line that he gave me out, and it was some undercutting thing. I don't know if you remember, but I was from LA, and I'd come in to sort of usurp his job. Yeah. So he was very generous about that, about making this great line. And the elevator door closed, and I just threw it at him, and it worked great. Yeah, I thought he was terrific. So that was, I mean, to play, you know, I mean, there he was on Saturday Night Live all those years, and I got to play with him. Yeah.
Has there ever been a role that you've been in, and you have contracts and whatnot, but you're just like, this isn't going right, and it's not, you know, and you're just like, you just get through it, and you just go like...
I've been in that, yeah. It's very uncomfortable. Because
okay, director, all the other people, if they start picking up on it, there's gonna be negative feedback, you know? So...
Well, but it's another thing that I learned from that teacher, is that, you know, to listen to a director, and not, because there was one director of something I was doing that I thought was just like that, and my teacher had me in and said, "What are you doing? Why aren't you listening to him? He's the director. Stop, John, come on." So, I mean, he very sweetly said, "You're making a mistake. You're getting in the way of your work." So I learned to be a good person as an actor.
Sounds like it makes you more selective towards what you pick.
Yeah. And if some, you know, if a director says try it, if you don't try it, you'll never know. But you try it, it might work. Maybe it'll unlock something. Yeah. Wait a minute.
Yeah, we got some different hands.
What, you had one. But, yes, you.
You were talking about different timer. I just wondered if you need a hug.
Huh?
Did you need a hug? You're talking about different timer.
About who? Kevin.
I just didn't know if you needed a hug.
I could take a hug when we're finished. Okay. I like hugging. Yeah. Anybody here don't like hugging? If one hand goes up, I'm leaving. Who doesn't love to be hugged?
We love being hugged by you.
Oh, shucks.
I can attest.
Have we hugged?
In New York. I gave you a hard time. I gave you a hard time. You didn't show up.
And then I hugged you? Even though you gave me a hard time? You see how forgiving I am? I've learned to forgive. This bitch, oh, I hugged her.
I have a bone to
Get your ass up here. Okay.
A second hug. 'Cause
Okay.
You saw me on Kristen's line, and you saw me another time. You came down Kristen's line.
Don't wave me down like that.
Oh, no, I didn't mean that.
Okay.
I didn't mean it like that.
I know. I was teasing. I was playing. Yes, sir.
Is there an actor that's either alive or dead that you would like to ask a question on how they did a certain thing, or when they were acting that you appreciated or liked?
Well, I have a lot of actors that I appreciate and like, but I don't know how'd you do that? How'd you do that? No, I don't think I've ever, well, I don't know. That's an interesting question. But I admire many, many actors. Oh, so I've worked with Vanessa Redgrave and Lynn Redgrave. Vanessa Redgrave, she's no slouch. Yeah, I've worked with some incredible people and some incredible directors. I mean, I've had a really nice career. And like I said, all those DC things just kind of came. You here, and this movie, The Home, the guy, my agent called and said he's seeing people online, and he wants to talk to you, and he doesn't want. And the guy was trying to talk me into playing this great role, and it's called The Home, and it's supposed to come out maybe in March or April, coming up. So it's a really, really interesting film. And yeah, it's got lots of twists and turns. Yes, sir?
I was curious, how did the recurring role on the Good Wife and eventually Good Fight, how does that come about?
Well, they called me up and asked me to be the Good Wife, I played a lawyer that was the same lawyer, and they would put him in different episodes, and I'd go do it. They stopped. They don't do that anymore. I don't know what if I did something to. Who knows? But I'm still working at this age. I mean, I just went to my 60th high school reunion, and then they asked me to be the MC. And I thought, wow, what am I going to do? Because all these people, I mean, I was not very popular in high school. I didn't play sports or anything like that, and so a lot of the jocks would pick on me and things like that, and say bad things to me and stuff. But I found a way to do it. I did say I was a nervous wreck because I'm an interpretive artist and I don't write this stuff, so I don't know what I'm going to say. But I figured out things to say. I mean, we talked about Comic-Cons. What are they called when you have to go colonoscopies?
I think we've all been to some Comic-Cons that felt like colonoscopies.
Well, we're 60th reunion, and so we're all in our 70s. So those Comic-Cons. So those. But I talked about the Michael Jackson drug and how I had it once. I had a colonoscopy and an endoscopy at the same time, and it was around the corner from Barney's, that clothing store, and I went in and bought about $1,000 worth of clothes because everything looked so damn good on me. And then the next morning I woke up, I tried it all, and I returned it, every bit of it. It didn't look as good when I wasn't on the Michael Jackson drug. So that got a lot of laughs. But I did talk about colonoscopies with my graduating class. Okay, all right. What else? There's a woman.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Everyone's like sitting when they ask their question. I feel like if I stand, you can hear me better.
You got class, baby. You got class.
This is a spoiler alert if you haven't watched this 20-year-old TV show. But when Lionel gets killed off in Smallville, sorry, spoiler alert. When you found out you were getting killed off, did you know that you were going to die by Lex's hand?
Well, I suggested to the writers that when it was time to leave, that Lex should kill me, because that would thing. But I learned that they were killing me in season 7 from one of the drivers, because they he was driving them out to do, to get location shoots, to get places, and they talked about in the car about how they were killing me off. And so he comes up to me and he says, "John, how do you feel about them killing you off this season?" I thought, oh, well. And then I said it to the head of the. Whoops. I asked the producer, what was happening. I said, "The driver told me," and I hope he was so ashamed of himself that he didn't come and tell me himself. But it was after they killed off Schneidi too. And then season 10, when they called me back, I remember coming on the set, and Tom looked at me and he said, "Oh, thank God, we've got a grown-up finally," because it was all kids. It was Kristen and Zoe. What's her? That beautiful woman that got all. Allison, who just got brainwashed by that man. She wanted to just make herself better. And Lana was the one Kristen was the one that took her to do the thing. And I guess Kristen realized sort of what was happening and left. But Allison believed in him. And no, he's such a... it was so tragic. She got 3 years. And she's just the sweetest girl, but boy, was that guy a prick.
Yeah.
God, a ugly, terrible man.
Vile human being.
Oh,
Yeah.
Did you see The Vow, that documentary about it? It's very interesting. I mean, because of my feeling about Allison, I just, no, let's change the subject.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did they want to kill you off because they knew Michael was leaving? Is that why? Because that was his final season 7? Do you think it had anything to do with that?
I didn't know Michael was going to leave. Maybe he left because I was leaving. I don't know. And I understand how. I mean, with the driver. I was just. It was a funny way to learn that my job was over. Yeah, but when season 10 came and I came back. Yeah, but all the good writers had left, so they didn't make. They said it was an alternate universe, and I thought, it'll be Lionel being human, but they just wrote a villain. There were two people that were the writers then. I cannot remember their names. I shouldn't have said that. Don't tell anybody I said that. All right. I shouldn't dish the writers. See, my teacher taught me that, and I should have done that. I shouldn't have done that. That wasn't nice. What? What do you want to ask? Are you going to spank me? What?
Keep track of curse words.
Poop.
This is probably the 4th time you've brought up your teacher again, and I just wondered, have you ever thought about moving into a teacher role? I'm a teacher myself.
You are.
So that's what made me think of it.
You think so? Well, I don't know. But I just go back to my college where I went to school, and I would sit in on classes and things, which I haven't done for a while. But I don't know. I like to get jobs. So, well, yeah. I don't know.
And expanding on the teacher thing, because I'm sure there's a lot of people in the audience who want to become actors. What is a good path to get you into any kind of acting? Is for your path, what helped you? When did you first start and really kind of catch the bug?
In high school. Yeah. I was in high school. I remember we had the junior class play, which was Lilium, which is what Carousel is based on, that musical. And it was in the cafeteria. We sat around a table, and I I sort of raised my hand to read one little role, and I didn't get cast, but sorry, hold on. It's my husband. Okay, I'll call him later. What was I going to say? So I didn't. But I moved. It was in the round, because we were in the cafeteria, and it was a platform, and I would move the scenery around, like there was a camera, and I do this and that, and in doing so, I wore a derby hat and a black outfit, and by the end of the run, I was getting all these laughs. I didn't say a word, but I would move around the stage, and I don't know what I was doing, but people started laughing and laughing and laughing. And I thought that the drama teacher was going to kill me when I got off stage, but she gave me the lead in the senior class play the next year. So that got me started. And then I went to a state teachers college in Baltimore, Towson State Teachers College, and they had a theater department. So I graduated. I was terrified to teach, because I was going to be the English teacher, that did the plays. But I was a terrible student. I did my homework in front of a TV set, and I thought there's no way I'm going to be an English teacher or anything like that. And then my mother was from Southwest Virginia. Then at the Barter, there's a Barter Theater in Virginia that was started during the Depression, when they went down to Abingdon, Virginia, and the people would buy their way into the theater with hams and chickens and eggs and stuff. So it was called the Barter Theater, and I did plays. So I was an apprentice. She went down and got me an application to be an apprentice at the Barter Theater, and they had a thing at the Barter that the person is right for the part gets the part. And that first year, after my freshman year in college, I played the lead in Look Homeward Angel at that Barter Theater. And I worked with theater actors from New York, and I acted alongside them. Every summer I went back to the Barter. And then when I graduated college, I moved to New York to be an actor. And I started getting jobs in regional theaters, and then I'd come back, and then I'd start getting jobs in New York, and my career kind of took off on its own. I was so lucky about it, and I still I did in college. I had an acting class where we did scene study and stuff, but it kind of just started. I was very, very lucky getting these great roles, and I guess I knew how to. I'm an only child, so I grew up making believe by myself. So I guess I have a good imagination too about stuff. But I love to act. I love to be somebody else.
I think we've got time for one more question, so no pressure, but this will be our last question right here in the back. Yep, you.
Any interesting stories or anecdotes about working with Uma Thurman on Batman and Robin?
Yes, this is what I say. I was kissed to death by Uma Thurman. And we kept having to do it over and over and over again, and she would stick her tongue down my throat. And I'm making that up. So anyway, but that's the story I tell. And it's not true, though. But we had a good time together, Uma and me. Yeah.
All right, well, I think it's a good place to start it. Thank you so much, Mr. Glover. Ladies and gentlemen, John Glover.
Thank you.